Hi, I'm Jay.
And I'm Lisa.
And in this video, you're going to hear and see references to the JLT oil separator. Well, we're excited to announce that as of December 2021, all JLT oil separators will now be J&L oil separators.
Same great product with a different name.
Thank you for your purchase.
I'm going to walk you through the installation of the JLT 3.0 oil separator on your 4-liter Toyota. Included in the JLT kit is the oil separator, mounting bracket, mounting screws, and 2 hoses. The tools you'll need for installation is a 10mm socket, 1/4 inch ratchet, Phillips head screwdriver, light oil and or grease. This could be wheel bearing grease, axle grease. This will help with lubrication of the hoses to push them onto fittings. Let's get started. Our first step is to remove our engine cover. This specific cover just pulls right up. It's in rubber grommets, so just pull up and then pull towards you. It's got these 2 C-looking clamps that go to these rubber portions on the back. Set that to the side. Next, we're going to need to remove the factory PCV line. On the driver's side of the truck, at the back of the intake manifold, there's a line that comes off and makes a 90-degree turn to the back of the engine and then connects to the back of the valve cover. These clips squeeze to release, so squeeze and pull it down, and then you can work the hose off. It should come off pretty easy. And then at the connection at the PCV, see if I can get down there and show you that. Which is right there. It's the same thing. There's a clip, squeeze the clip, lift up, and then pull up on the hose. And then just get this hose out of here. And here's our line. We're going to reuse our clips. I have the smaller of the 2 clips and the longer JLT hose. This is going to connect to the PCV valve on the back of the valve cover. I'm going to go ahead and pre-install this clamp on our hose. And then we want to route this from the back to the front. So I'm going to take the front of the hose, go around this bracket and these 2 heater hoses, and feed the hose towards the front of the engine. And this hose should push right onto the PCV. You can go ahead and squeeze your clamp and push it down. You want to make sure you get it past the barb on the PCV, which it is. Next, we're going to grab the shorter line, go ahead and slide our clamp up this. Now this one we're going to want to lubricate. This fitting is larger here at the manifold, so it's going to take some effort to push this hose onto it. Ideally, wheel bearing grease and axle grease actually works the best. Motor oil works good too. In a pinch, you can even use dish soap, anything slippery. So I'm going to go ahead and lube this up with some grease. And even put a little on the fitting itself. And the same thing, we're going to route this from the back to the front. And then we're going to want to work this hose onto that fitting. And we're going to squeeze our clamp. Okay, on this model, there's this stud. This actually holds the engine cover. It's a 10mm bolt, deep well socket. I'm gonna break that free and take that out, and we're gonna mount our bracket here. Grab your JLT bracket and just run this bolt back in. I'm not going to tighten it all the way down yet. Next, grab the JLT can and the supplied mounting screws and mount the bracket to the can. Now these screws I'm going to go ahead and tighten up with my screwdriver. Okay, so our hoses, there is a specific way we must hook up these hoses to the can. The line that is running to the PCV valve, which is this line here, I can see it wiggling in the back, is going to connect to our J side of the can, or the JLT logo. This is the side where our filter is. This is what's going to take that oil vapor and condense it into a liquid form to be collected. So it's very important that the PCV line connects to the filtered side of the can. I'm going to take that same grease from earlier, lube up our hose a little bit, and slide that onto the can. And then that's going to leave us our intake manifold line to go to our T side. And go ahead and push that up there. So now we're going to fit our engine cover. Those two C's are going to clamp around the rubbers here on the back of the manifold. And then we're going to sit this down. And then I'm just going to push the can around to where it's not interfering with the cover. It may touch the cover slightly, but it's okay if it's just resting on it. We just don't want a hard hit. So once I kind of get the can where I want it, I'm going to pull back up on the cover and tighten our bolt down. Push your cover back on, and that completes your installation. On the earlier engine covers, there's two nuts, 10mm. You need to remove to get this cover off. Lift up and pull off and sit it right over here to the side. PCV line, it's got those same squeeze clamps, so to squeeze them and pull down on the line, and then at the PCV, squeeze the clamp and pull up like so. We're going to feed our hoses, first starting with the longer hose. We're going to go around our bracket. Up and through. Go under the wiring harness by the oil cap. Forget to reinstall your spring clip from your stock line. Slide that onto your PCV and slide your clip down. And then for the intake manifold line, gonna route the same way. I'm gonna go under the harness. Go. And I'm going to rotate our clamp first. Slide that up. Squeeze our clamp. Now the mounting for the JLT bracket is going to actually go right off of this stud. So we're just going to loosely place that now. reinstall our engine cover. And then I'm just going to loosely install that nut. And that's going to allow us to pivot this. We're going to take our oil separator and mount it to the bracket with the supplied mounting screws. We can go ahead and tighten up those screws. Now we have our two hoses here. We got the one to the PCV and the one to the intake. So the one to the intake is going to go to our open port side, which is our T side. So it's going to loop around and make this connection. And the one to our PCV is going to go to the J side and make this connection. So we want to lubricate these hoses. Just going to slide a little grease in there. You can do this with motor oil too. This will help us install it onto the can. So there is our intake. And then our same thing for our PCV. Like so. And really what you want to pay close attention to is just find the happy spot that this can wants to rest. It's okay if these hoses just touch this engine cover. You just don't want the engine cover really pushing down on them hard. These fittings can be moved with an open-ended wrench, an 18mm. So if you need to tweak the fitting down just a little bit more to just for an optimum hose routing, you are welcome to do that. I'm pretty comfortable with how this one is sitting, so I'm going to go ahead and tighten down my mounting bolt and then reinstall the other side. Double check all your connections, make sure they're still connected and that your clamps are secure. Show you the adjustment on these fittings you can make. As you can see, this is shaped like a nut. You can grab an 18mm wrench and they can be rotated very easily. And then that gives us a nice air gap here on the cover.